Hey guys, Jacob here. This is going to be the 130% damage to Elites PVE build. I'm not going to mess around. I'll get right into this build so you guys can see how I'm running it and tell you where some of the pieces to use. This build is mostly for doing challenging missions and doing the level 3 control points. And if you want to fight hunters with this, you can as well. I melted a hunter trying to get the Spectre Mask a while back with this build and just shred. But roll, measure, burning, bleed, and effects can occur every 60 seconds. The mods I'm using is the C79 scope with 15% damage to elites, which you can craft this by doing a secret side mission. 20% reload speed, which is negative 20%, not plus 20. Cinemag for the 30 rounds, so you combine those together, you get, with extra, you're going to get 72 rounds and get negative 10% rate of fire. Short grip with crit hit damage and negative 15% reload speed. The muzzle brake that gives you 10% damage to elites and 15% stability, or negative 15% stability, my bad. And then the sidearm I'm using, which is pretty much just can be anything. I mostly use the M700, and I also use the MPX, just the fact that I don't have really any other guns I can use as a backup. 9.4k damage. Optimus, which is locked. Weapon damage is increased by 3% for every 10% of ammo missing from the magazine. And then you have Allegro, 10% rate of fire, protected deploy. While equipped, this weapon grants 10% bonus armor while deploying a skill. So if you're in cover and you have this equipped and you throw a skill out, you'll get 10% bonus armor. Now the sidearm I'm using, which I don't worry about sidearms that much. If I had a higher gear score one, I would be using this guy right here, but I don't. So I'm just going with the X45 at the moment. I'll probably start using the military M9 because it does a little bit more damage. But it has Lucky Shot on it. Magazine capacity is increased by 20%. Missed shots from cover have a 25% chance to return to the magazine. Has optimized for weapon handling and grease, while holstered weapon spot speed is increased by 10%. And here are the mods on it. If you want to see the pistol, field pistol mag that gives you optimal range, negative 10% crit chance. The compact couple laser pointer gives you 5% crit chance, negative 5% accuracy, which kind of makes no sense to me because it's a laser pointer. But 45 muzzle slot, which is the Osprey 45 suppressor with 20% crit chance and negative 10% rate of fire. Now the pieces I'll go over, the D&H, which is kind of out of the way. That's not, it's kind of mixed together. Some of my friends are like, oh, why do you have that? Well, the attribute on alone is 31% damage to elites and 15% damage to elites from hard hitting, which is pretty insane. If you combine those together, you get a lot of damage to elites just from these pieces alone. Next, the vest is the Fenris, which has a defense protocol mod on it with armor regeneration, extra incoming healing, and health. It also has unbreakable, hard hitting, which is the 15% damage to elites, and has bonus armor, headshot damage, and critical hit damage. If I could have assault rifle damage, I would instead of critical hit damage because it's a PvE build, but it's also nice as well. Unbreakable, though, is 25% of max armor is repaired when your armor kit is depleted. Armor kits used within the next 5 seconds are not consumed, and it requires no other active talents affecting armor kits. And you can see I only have one mod on this because it only allows you to have one mod on this vest currently. Next is the holster, and you can see I'm running the 3-piece, so you get the protection from elites and the health on kill when you kill enemies. 8% crit chance, 529 skill power, and hard hitting as well. And now the backpack, which has no current mod on it because it's just a utility. I've kind of just left it alone at the moment until I get a better backpack. But has crit hit chance on it modified because this is for another build. Weapon damage and 7,000 health, and has hard hitting and hazard protection. And what hazard protection is, if I remember correctly, it's pretty much stuff like fire, poisonous gas, stuff like that. So it's basically, I think, exotic damage resilience built into 1 or something like that. I think that's what it is. That's one perk I'm not 100% on because I don't really, pay attention to that much easily, or hardly at all. But I easily just forget that talent because I don't really pay attention to it that much. Next is the Badger Tough Gloves, which gives you pistol damage, SMG damage, health, and the damage to elites. That's the only reason I'm using it because it's 7% extra damage to elites. And there's no mod on this. You can get mods in your glove, so you can get something like the utility protocol mods and stuff like that. Now the knee pads are the damage to elites, skill power, 3-piece, you get the health on kill, and patience is actually locked due to the fact that I don't have more armor on this. After being in cover for 3 seconds, armor repairs by 5% for every 1 second. So if you can make this build around that talent, you can have it and somehow have that 7 armor and make this work. I suggest you do it because that's actually a really good talent for PvP and PvE. Now I'll show you guys the character sheet so you could see what all the talents are. And the gear talents, there's a list if you just want to see them. And then when you go to your weapons, you'll see I have 10,000 weapon damage, 16% crit chance, 56% crit damage, 68% headshot damage, and you can see the negative 35% reload speed, which kind of sucks, but that's what the extended mag, negative 15% accuracy and stability. And then you have your offensive. You can see the LMG, SMG, assault rifle from some of the bonuses, and that goes into the fact to whatever specialist you use. And you can see this is 138% damage to elites. It's almost 140. So pretty much 130, 140. That's why I said 130 at the beginning, due to the fact that it's not 140, so it's still 138. It's really close. If I had maybe one other piece or something I could find that has damage elites on it, I'm not sure if you can get any higher. But this is the highest I've ever gotten on it. And you can also see the defense, the 149,000 armor, max health, which is really low, but the health on kills there, and the health regeneration, hazard protection. So that gives you the 10% for the bleed, burn, disorient, disrupt, and shock, and stuff like that, and the skills, which is all the same as well. And also I'll go into skills real quick so you guys can see what skills I use, and there's actually a few of them. You can use, personally I use the Seeker Mine just to blow up enemies as a standard, and then you can use the Fixer Drone to heal you. And you can see I do not have any of these really unlocked because they are cool, but I'm not really that interested in the drone so far, and I've been mostly just farming, trying to get gear and not worrying about these. But the main healing skill I use is this guy right here, which is the Chem Launcher Reinforcer that gives you heals when you shoot it on the ground, so I suggest you use that when you're fighting. And there's also the Seeker Mine Mender, which is right here, but you can only use that for the Survivalist specialization. One other thing, if you guys really want to use, is if you're solo, which I use now and then, is the Reviver. When you go down, this guy drops right away, and it can revive you and pick you up. So if you're doing solo missions, I suggest you use this guy. So combining something like the Reviver and the Chem Launcher works really well together. But if you want something like a defensive, I suggest using something like the Seeker Mine, the turret, or even the drone that shoots bullets. But that's gonna be about it, guys. Thank you all for watching. I know this is a quick video, but I suggest getting all these rolls on your gear to be able to just shred through NPCs. But I'll catch you guys all in the next one.
So, devil's cry, huh? Let's hear what that sounds like! Don't you dare say it! Jackpot!